Welcome to Wabusan Wire. Today we're talking about Housing and Local Government Minister Nga Kor Ming's call for Penang voters to make the National Alliance scurry away.
Right, and that phrase "scurry away," it immediately tells you everything.
It sets the tone, doesn't it?
Absolutely. This wasn't just some ceremonial speech. He was at the North Malaysia Hawkers Association's new committee installation in Penang.
So a local event.
Exactly, but the message was anything but. It was a very calculated, high-stakes political appeal, really a strike aimed right at the heart of the National Alliance's ambitions in the state.
And choosing to speak to the hawkers, that feels very deliberate.
Oh, it's highly strategic. Hawkers are, the bedrock of the local economy. They're visible, they're connected.
They talk to everyone.
They talk to everyone. So he's linking this big, abstract national political fight directly to their livelihoods, their licenses, and really the identity of Penang itself.
So the mission he laid out wasn't about local government policy then?
Not at all. It was about securing an overwhelming mandate. It was all about stability for the unity government versus, in his view, the threat posed by the opposition.
Okay, let's unpack the language he used because it was incredibly strong.
It was. He went far beyond just standard campaign talk.
He used these very powerful traditional idioms. He told the voters they must be mindful of danger in times of peace.
Right, and also to prepare for a rainy day.
What's the significance of using those specific phrases?
Well, for the audience he was addressing, those idioms resonate very deeply. It's a kind of political rhetoric that taps into historical wisdom. He's saying, yes, things seem stable now.
But don't get complacent.
Precisely. He's instilling a sense of urgency, a need for vigilance. He's basically turning the act of voting from just a civic duty into an act of immediate self-preservation.
The idea that the comfort you have today depends entirely on how you vote tomorrow.
Exactly. And the primary goal, he said, the required action was to deliver a majority so large that the unity government's position becomes unshakable.
And he tied that directly to Penang's future.
He did. He framed it as the only way to maintain Penang's direction towards prosperity, diversity, and being open-minded. The implication being that the other side threatens all of that.
Which brings us to that really aggressive instruction. The goal wasn't just to win.
No. It was humiliation. He told them to make the National Alliance leave Penang hurriedly, scrambling away.
Scrambling away, that's not just a defeat.
It's a rout, a dishonorable one. In that political and cultural context, it suggests driving them out in a way that signals total failure, total disgrace.
Making it hard for them to even think about coming back.
It shows just how toxic the political climate has become. This isn't just policy disagreement anymore. This is personal, and it's about establishing absolute regional dominance.
But doesn't that kind of language risk alienating more moderate voters? People who might be put off by that level of aggression.
That's always the risk, yes. But for him, the calculation is clearly that the benefit of firing up his base outweighs that risk.
Because the people in that room, the hawkers, are the ones most worried about the rhetoric coming from the other side.
Exactly. This aggressive language validates their own frustration. It gives them permission, in a way, to fight back hard with their votes. He's meeting perceived hostility with his own combative tone.
And that hostility has a name. He focused almost entirely on the threat from Kedah.
He did. The perfect political foil for him was Kedah's Menteri Besar, Muhammad Sanusi MD Noor.
And his repeated claims about incorporating Penang into Kedah state.
That was the core of it. Nga Kor Ming didn't just dismiss the claim. He interpreted it very publicly as a deliberate act of political malice.
So not just a historical debate, but an active attempt to cause trouble.
That's the accusation. That Sanusi is trying to create conflict between ethnic groups and between the two states for one reason only.
Political benefit.
To stir up emotion and win votes. It's a classic move in identity politics.
But if the claim has no legal basis, and we'll get to that, why give it so much oxygen? Why not just ignore it?
Because the constitutional facts often matter less than the political perception of a threat. Sanusi's rhetoric, whether it's legally sound or not, creates fear.
Fear among non-National Alliance voters that their entire way of life, their state's culture, could be forcibly changed.
Yes. And Nga Kor Ming has to position himself as the strongest possible shield against that threat. To ignore it would look like weakness.
He did try to contrast that, though. He used that neighborhood metaphor.
He did. He said Kedah and Penang are supposed to be good neighbors, good brothers, good partners.
Trying to paint the unity government as the rational, calm party in the room.
It's a classic statesman-like counterpoint. It frames his side as seeking cooperation while casting the opposition's approach as disruptive and, frankly, childish.
But he didn't just leave it at disruptive. He used another one of those idioms, accusing Sanusi of having ill intentions known to everyone.
And that's a very powerful accusation. It implies the agenda is so obvious, so poorly hidden, that any ordinary person on the street can see right through it.
He's empowering his audience, telling them they're smart enough to see the game being played.
Precisely. That by constantly bringing up this issue, the goal is just to provoke a sense of crisis and leverage that fear for votes.
Okay, with all this emotional and political back and forth, we need to ground this in facts. Let's do the constitutional reality check. What is the absolute legal position on Penang's status?
This is where Nga Kor Ming's argument pivots from emotion to law. And it's his strongest point. He grounds his entire rebuttal in the federal constitution.
Which is the supreme law of the land.
The supreme law. He cited two specific articles to just, completely shut down the argument.
Okay, so let's go through them. What's the first one?
The first one is Federal Constitution, Article 2.
And what does that say?
It states very clearly that Penang is one of the 13 sovereign states of the country. That's it. It's not a historical claim or a negotiable point.
It's black-letter law.
It's the fundamental law of the Federation. Its status as an independent state is constitutionally protected. No other state has any legal claim over it, period.
That seems pretty definitive. Why did he need to bring in a second article?
Because the second one tackles the political agitation head-on. He cited Federal Constitution, Article 4.
Which defines the Constitution itself as the supreme law.
Exactly. By referencing Article 4, he's establishing the legal hierarchy. It doesn't matter what historical claims someone wants to make or what a politician says at a rally.
Nothing supersedes the Constitution.
Nothing. So his point is that even if you wanted to debate history, the creation of Malaysia and the Constitution made any prior claims totally null and void. The current legal status is the only one that matters.
So in his view, the entire Penang belongs to Kedah narrative is legally non-existent.
It's unfounded, a manufactured crisis designed purely to destabilize and distract. The law protects Penang, and his message is that now the voters must protect the government that upholds that law.
Which brings us to the political theater of the night. After laying out the law, he did something quite brilliant.
Yes, the informal poll.
He conducted an immediate show-of-hands poll right there in the room.
It's a fantastic tactic. It's about creating momentum and a powerful visual. He needed to show that the community wasn't just passively listening, but was actively with him.
It's forcing a public declaration of support.
A physical one, yes. He asked a very simple, very unambiguous question.
He asked the crowd to raise their hands if they opposed Penang returning to Kedah.
And the result was, of course, unanimous. Every single hand went up.
And that gives him a soundbite, it gives him photos, proof of local unity against the opposition's rhetoric.
It solidifies the consensus in the room. But the second part of that poll was even more important.
Right. They didn't just reject the idea. They made it personal.
They did. They explicitly said they did not want Sanusi to become their chief minister.
So they connected the abstract constitutional threat directly to a person.
And that's the strategic genius of it. For the hawkers, the threat isn't just about lines on a map changing. It's about who controls their licenses, who manages the local markets, who sets the tone for their business.
By rejecting Sanusi as a leader, they're rejecting the whole package of instability and identity conflict he represents.
Absolutely. So this whole exchange, this state versus state spat, what does it really achieve?
It elevates a state issue to a matter of national stability.
It does. But more importantly, it weaponizes the identity question for the election. It takes this huge, complex fight over the unity government survival and translates it into a very simple, very immediate threat for every resident in Penang.
It makes you feel like you are personally on the front line defending your home with your vote.
And when you see a federal minister at a local business dinner talking about constitutional articles instead of, say, inflation or the value of the ringgit,
it tells you everything you need to know about their priorities.
It really does. When concrete policy wins are hard to come by, politicians often fall back on these emotionally charged historical claims. It's a way to bypass complex economic arguments and just mobilize the base through fear.
So for you, the voter, what's the takeaway?
The takeaway is that these battles over identity and sovereignty are becoming the main event. This aggressive exchange shows the high stakes, and it proves that sometimes a symbolic fight is seen as more politically powerful than a tangible solution.
A sobering thought on where our political discourse is heading.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.